Another business call. Her name is Angie, and we'll see how this goes. Hi, Angie.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I haven't ever used this before.
Oh, Google? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fantastic. Yeah, I use Zoom too. Like for my weekly calls with my students, I use Zoom because it has more bells and whistles. But this integrates really nice with the Acuity schedule. So
Oh,
it just creates the link for you. So it's super super easy.
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I like your backdrop's nice as well, so
Oh
very
yeah.
cool. Yeah.
I was looking at the website earlier and I saw your three boys. I love that you surround your story around them because I'm sure that's they're a big part of defining who you are as a mom and as a professional. So I loved it and they're so adorable.
Thank you. It
I
was,
have a long way to get there. I have a 6 month old. So
oh,
yeah.
wow.
It's been a whirlwind. You can kind of see them. There you go, like over there in the corner there. See?
Oh, lovely. Awesome.
Yeah. Um,
Beautiful.
yeah, she's a little
What's her
cutie.
name?
Madeline Elisa. So after both of
Oh,
our grandmothers.
oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
No,
Beautiful,
it
beautiful
is
family.
the honestly the best thing in the entire world. I
Yeah.
can't even. I never thought it would be this amazing. Like I knew being a mom would be amazing, but honestly, like in the beginning, it was all filled with fear, and I waited a long, long time to have kids because I was so involved in my career, and I guess a part of me was worried that being who I am professionally, I'm obsessed with what I do. I love what I do. I didn't know how it would fit in with being a mom. You know,
Right.
how old are
Well,
yours?
yeah, so mine are they're 27, 24, and 21.
Cute.
And they are it you can do it. I kind of feel that's one of the things, and you kind of saw that is I at this point in time it's nice because the boys, they will say like, we just kind of thought you were busy. We didn't really think you were working.
Mm.
But the which was nice. But I worked a lot, and but I was talking to somebody the other day. My dad had a business and ran it from home. So for me, just no, seeing like it was construction, totally different. But he started the day at 7 a.m. with the guys there, and then they go out, and so he was all really flexible. But there was times on Sunday where he had to go to work.
Mm.
So I think I've been thinking a lot about this now that they're all three working and they're all working from home right now. They really have been able to transition and handle it really well. And I was talking about it to my mom, and I said I kind of think them watching me work from home for all those years. Sometimes I'd have to get up at 4 in the morning, to get some things done before they'd get up at 7, to get them kind of out the door and, those types of things. But it was fun. I mean, it's so that they've been able to, you can make it work. That's everybody's doing that these days now, which is
It
so different, right?
This world is crazy, isn't it? It is so different.
So different.
I love working from home though. I mean, it's nice because I get to just pop upstairs and
Oh,
see
of course.
Madeline. I mean, it's just been amazing.
So you have 10 minutes. You have a little break. You
I
go up,
just
get a
shoot
little hug and kiss,
upstairs.
or
Like I'll give you an example. She rolled over for the first time last week, and if I wasn't working from home, I would have missed it. I heard them
so
screaming like, "Yeah, upstairs!" So I ran upstairs. I was on a call, and I didn't care. I just ran upstairs. I'm like, "What am I missing?" They were like, "She's rolling over," you know. So
oh, so fun. And it's those little tiny things that you'll remember forever. We have funny little stories that usually happened at random times,
yeah,
right? Scotty, my youngest, he had imaginary friends, Jake and Michael, and they went everywhere with us.
that's so cute.
And it was just
You had
so
a
funny.
packed car, 5 kids, huh?
Yeah, sometimes it was like, mommy, they need their car seat, and I was like, Jake and Michael are invisible, they don't need a car seat. And then my
Oh,
middle
that's
son had
adorable.
a cabbage patch doll that was like this little, and he named him Louie. And my mom was so funny. One time she was watching him for me, and she came home, she's like, honey, I do not, his name's Christian, she's like, I don't mind watching Christian, I'm happy to help you with him, but I'm not babysitting Louie anymore, he's way too demanding.
It's so funny that so my sister had a Cabbage Patch doll. He was like a bald-headed Cabbage Patch doll, and his name was Louie.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I swear, I kid you not. That's so
That's
funny.
hysterical. She's like, he needs to eat, he needs a bath, like she was
Yeah.
just a crack up because, he would walk around and like say all the things that Louis needed. And she was just, oh my gosh, we just have so many stories about that. That was just such a crack up. So I'm super happy that you get to enjoy her. And
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, But I would love to hear about you. I normally kind of like to set the goals of this conversation, get to know each other, and so for me, I would love to learn more about you and what you're doing. I could share what I'm doing, and seeing if there's a mutual fit somewhere in there.
yeah.
So I think if we want to start, like I would love to hear your background. It sounds really interesting. It sounds like you have your hand in a couple different things, and so I would love to kind of hear what you're doing and what your ultimate goals are and where you're headed.
Yeah, so thank you for reaching out because I appreciate it. I so my background was in mortgage banking. So that was, like I said, I was raised on a construction site. So as the kids, and then I got married very young. Kind of married at 22, kids at 24, 27, and 30. My husband and I grew up together, and it happened like by the time I had my third, I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Like only one of us can. His career and his choices took him into positions where he was traveling constantly.
Mm-hmm.
So it was there was a little bit of this aha moment when the kids were like 4, 6, and 10. Kind of like I was trying to work, and I thought this isn't going to work anymore. He was gone Monday through Friday at least. Kind of all the time, and I thought to myself like, all right. And I remember this moment because we were living in Florida at the time and for his job. And he said, and I thought to myself, if I could leave this world with 3 really good men, then that's good. Like that, I just have to kind of focus on that for the next, 15 years, if you will. So we did that. And so I started a business where I was doing mortgage banking, which was fantastic. It was a really flexible, lucrative career until the recession hit. And then it literally started costing me money to work, at that point. So then it was like, all right, we'll go back and be a stay-at-home mom for a while, ride this out, which is all great in theory until you have to send 3 kids to college. And he had just, started a business. At the time, it was, this, a huge pay cut, as far as coming out of the corporate world. But it's definitely paid off over the last 10 years. But at the time, it was just like, roll your sleeves up and let's just go to work. So around the same time, I started to look around for things that I could be able to do, that was flexible. And he was like, I'm going to be gone Monday through Friday at least. So boys are all yours. At that time, they were 11, 13, and 17. I don't know. I'm telling you my story because you might have other points.
No, I'm very interested. It's molding who you are, so I think it's important.
So they, at the time, they were on 8 different ball teams.
Wow.
Between the 3 of them. My oldest is also a musician and an actor, and and tutoring. I mean, it was just like, how am I going to figure out a way to do this? And so we really just kind of said like, all right, he goes, you can figure out a way to bring a couple $1,000s a month and pay cash for him to go to college. I mean, it was just at that time where like we were underwater on our mortgage. Our college funds that we've been saving forever were half what they were when he was going to college, my oldest, and when they were started in high school. It was just that crash. And so we were advised, like, if you guys can figure out a way to pay for cash for college, just roll your sleeves up, get through the next couple of years, you're going to be fine. It was great advice. It was fine. But that for me at that point was like, how in the world am I going to figure out how to do this without compromising parenting? I kind of had that feeling like I've worked so hard at this point. I don't want to blow it now, right? On as they were getting their teenage years. So around the same time, a friend of mine who actually is a doctor, she lives here in San Diego as well, called and said, meet me for coffee. I want to show you what I'm doing. And that was where the Moms Making 6 Figures came into play. As far as I had read an article in our local newspaper about women who had started a business basically to be able to help women to be able to earn a corporate income by working at home. What that basically was, I walked in and I saw the Melaleuca logo, which I was familiar with Melaleuca products because my mother's housekeeper always used them. It's I'm embarrassed to say I never asked her why, but I now know why. They're clean, the cleaning products. Think of it like a Whole Foods quality at a Target price, with the convenience of an Amazon.com. That's
Mm.
basically what it is. We're a
Yeah.
manufacturing company, so just an online store, which is thriving this year, obviously, because
I can imagine.
everybody's shopping online. So, you know, in March, we just got super, super busy. But also, so long story short, I said, sure, I'll give it a shot. Because of, I was so well connected really within our community, I was able to, I had a lot of people like, can I do this? Can I do this? So I basically helped people set up virtual stores. I had the second fastest growing business in North America in 2011, which sounds ridiculous because, you know, when I say that to people, because I did it all literally like on the ball field, you know.
That's
it was
amazing.
just from like that. In fact, I remember I came home from the award ceremony and I had a trophy and I looked at the boys and I said, oh, I go, you guys, so I got second place, like, or the second fastest growing business. And this was like the US and Canada, right?
Wow,
And
that's
said,
amazing.
And all of us, like, they're like, second place doesn't matter, Mom. What, like, why didn't you get first? I mean, that's the kind of world we live in.
I love
So
that.
I looked at their dad and I go, well, if your father would help me a little bit, I could maybe do this, because he was, you know, gone, and it was a couple that were like in first place, and it was a man and wife working together. So we joked about that. But so essentially what that happened, that was great, because it has really completely, you know, it was something that I was able to do. My life changed. We went through, aren't legally divorced, but it's a long story. So it sometimes happens like that. So a couple of little different things and things with his business. And now we're all kind of good. Everything's fine. Everybody's good. We're kind of out of the end of it. And the boys are all graduated from school and they're all working. So that, and the company is thriving, if you will, right? And as I'm looking at, this is kind of where I started to kind of play around on Facebook yesterday when I looked for that group, where it's a different time, and I really have changed the way we do marketing, if you will, right? To try to find people. So for me, the very best thing I can do is, and here's the nice part for me, Alexa, I really am at the point now where I was able to figure out a way to be able to create a 6-figure income, to create a residual income, and be able to be a total mom at the same time.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm proud to say my boys aren't just great, they're really exceptional, and they're all working, right? So I have so many, we laugh, like so many of our friends right now that their kids are, you know, they just don't have the kind of skill sets or the grit, if you will, to really be able to kind of deal with this time period. So
yeah.
That's the coach. So I'm very proud of that, and done. Kind of, for the most part, other than the fact that, you know, the fun part's now. So my point in saying that is now I feel like I have this huge, like you, I want to give back. I want to really be able to help anybody. I mean, obviously there's men and, you know, elderly people and young people, but it is such my mom says this, like my sweet spot is really as a mom.
Yeah.
Right, as far as that goes. And so can I do that? It's also very different than where I was 10 years ago when I started this business, because I'm not on a ball field anymore. You know, my kids are gone. So it really isn't a matter of now how do I find those people who were before. It was really, to be honest with you, easy. You know, I mean,
it's very different now.
It's very different. Yeah. And everybody's at home. It used to be more, you know, get-togethers in houses or presentations at companies or coffees, and everything is online, which is great also because I can work with people. You know, you and I can have a conversation and you're in New York, right? And this is and all of the technology is so streamlined. So so how do I find, our biggest challenge of it is how do I find people like me? Yeah. Right. That are that maybe are in a position like this where they've been in mortgage banking or they've been in a corporate world. I've heard the term that this looks like it's a female recession, what we're going through right now, because there's so many women that have had to turn down promotions. I mean, I know you know this too, right? Or had to take, or they're getting furloughed, or, you know, only they have to homeschool, so only one parent can really work, right? As far as that goes. And so this is something that I can teach people how to do very easily and very quickly. And if they just are, you know, have a little bit of the skill sets, and quite frankly, if they're coachable, I can teach them how to do this. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no,
so
absolutely.
When I was looking at you, I thought, okay, let's have a conversation, and I can kind of share what I do. You know, if I were to look and say, so I actually have a friend of mine, and he looked at me and he goes, I think you guys are going to get busier than you ever have been, because unemployment is, you know, all of those stimulus packages are done, right? Now people are sort of like after the holidays, and that's where I'm kind of reaching out now. Usually people start to look around for, what am I going to do? I'm going to have to go back to work after the first of the year. I've got to figure this out, or I need to figure out a way to shop online. But mostly it's really looking, here's what I would tell you. I'm actively looking for business partners. I'll enroll a customer by accident. That's kind of what happens, right?
Yeah, no, I think that's a good perspective to have. And I apologize if I seemed a little hesitant, but I get bombarded. Like, I get probably, I'm not exaggerating, probably, especially because I have a pretty decent Instagram following, and I get like 100 requests a day. And it's just, every request is different. I get a lot of like network marketers and trying to pitch me, and I'm like, I'm making 8 figures. You make 6 figures. Why are you pitching me? I should be pitching you. And so I get so many, like, I get bombarded. So I apologize if I was a little hesitant, but sometimes I get these like spammy people. And so I wasn't understanding where you were coming from, but I am so happy that we jumped on.
Yeah, actually, I appreciate that. I mean, that's kind of why I was like, okay, like.
I love that you just kept pushing back. You're like, I really, once you pushed back like 2-3 times and just kept going, I was like, all right, she's real. Like, all right, I'm going to talk to her.
Well, because the same thing happens to me, right? I mean, as you can imagine, so I totally get that, and I'm sure it happens to you constantly.
It's insane.
It's the same thing happened. There was a woman on there, and she reached out, and then the next thing I know, she's trying to sell me financial investment services or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, like, this isn't what, so it's just so different. So I think when I saw you, and then when I said, what do you do? And you said that, I was like, okay, you really, everything you've done is fantastic. Super,
you
super
too. I mean, you got to be proud of yourself to be a stay-at-home mom and work full-time. And like, I mean, it's incredible. I'm in awe of what you've done, so you should be proud of yourself. I mean, I didn't have kids, but I was able to work 80 hours a week for the first 15 years of my career and really pull it all together. And a lot of it was luck and connecting with the right people. I had really good mentors in my life, which is why I think coaching is so important. And I always say to people, like, if you're a coach and you don't have a coach, that's a problem, right? So I think coaching is why I am where I am and why I wanted to give back and do that, because I'm really passionate about it. I just think, and looking at some of the results that I've gotten from the people that have gone through my program, it amazes me and it makes me feel really good. And I have people now that come back after running and operating. I have 2 people right now in my program that I helped build their business 10 years ago. And now COVID hit and they came back to me to help them build an online business. And like,
right.
It makes me feel really good to see the success stories. And it's amazing. It really is.
So because with that, and maybe you can hear that in my voice, it's different now.
So different.
Every company has had to pivot, shift. We were talking about that, as far as like, working from home. My middle son works at Oracle, even just like out of college working at Oracle. Huge campus, gym, cafeteria, the whole thing, then he's coming home and he's working at his mother's kitchen, dining room table, right? So, but the company did a really good job of, getting everybody at home, and they're doing fantastic, and he looks at me now and goes, I don't think I'm ever going back.
Yeah.
I don't know they're going to keep us. So there's our business, our company has been able, and our team. So we have like the corporate office, we also have a team together that we have started to do different kinds of trainings all online. It's just harder to get what I've realized. If you were to say, like, when you said that yesterday, which was great, I thought that was so, I give kudos to you when you're like, what do you need help with? I really thought about it, and I thought, I just need people, right?
Yeah.
As far as that goes. And it's a different type of because it isn't a multi-level marketing company, even though, sometimes people put us in that box, or they'll put us in a shop, somebody said yesterday, oh, you're like a personal shopper. And I'm like, no, I'm not, right? As far as that goes. So it really does feel more as far as, and you're right. Like, I am a mentor to women to be able to help people too. Yeah, there's a huge component of it, of teaching people how to have, better, safer options in their homes and in their bodies. And that piece of it, I'm very, very passionate about, especially because I've learned more about how important that is over the last 10 years, and particularly during COVID.
Yeah.
The other half of it is though, my real passion is being able to, and I think you and I probably share that, being able to help people, particularly women, to be able to have additional income streams.
It's so important.
Yeah. So even if yesterday there's a woman that I was talking to, she's fantastic. And she was a customer years ago, and she came back. She's beautiful, tiny. She has a 12-year-old son. She's a single mom. She has 1 class left to get her college degree. And she said she's working construction.
Wow.
Literally,
that's
like,
amazing.
pounding a hammer. and she's grateful. She's like, I have a friend, I'm so grateful that he's got this, this job. And she said, honestly, if $500 a month would make a huge difference in my life right now.
Yeah.
And so that's the kind of type I'm like, oh my gosh, I can do that for you now.
Yeah.
Right. So, but it isn't just like a paycheck, helping somebody send out my Christmas cards or something like that. Right.
Yeah.
It's really to start a business that can continue to grow over time. And that's what we do have, which is a really fantastic platform. My challenge is how, we always look at how do you find those people. Obviously I have a huge warm market, but there's so many people out there that I think if I can figure out a way to get there, that would be great.
Yeah,
so.
I actually have somebody in my program I think that you would get along with very well, because she's doing the same thing but more in the health wellness area. So she's doing like the CBD market, which is exploding. And she has the same exact problem that you're having. And the thing is the difference between 2011 and now is you're now having to market yourself online, which is very different. Now it's not, hey, let's meet for a cup of coffee and you can explain your program. Trying to get people to even jump on a Zoom with you takes a lot of effort up front. And what I find is a lot of really good people that have really great products or services are struggling with that piece of getting them to that point of trusting you before they jump on a Zoom with you. And trust is that big piece of it. The Facebook groups are good, but honestly, that's probably not where I would say most of my students are getting their clients. Instagram is definitely a much better platform to get better consistency of better, higher quality clients. I do convert people off Facebook, but I've kind of grown away from it because there's so much spam on it nowadays, and people are a little skeptical. But there are things you can do, like how I've kind of marketed myself on my page that gets people to get interest, right? But, the biggest thing I would say for people now is really being able to understand exactly who their audience is. To say, stay-at-home moms is kind of a loaded word, right? So like figuring out what your niche is, who you would connect to, and then what's the offer. And creating that sales funnel is the important piece. And a lot of people don't know how to do that. And that's why I created this course, because I was doing a lot of, as I shared, I was an app developer turned marketer, and I was helping a lot of people build their brands, build their sales funnels. And one day I just said to my wife, I'm like, what if I created, instead of me doing a do it for you program, what if I did a do it with you program and empowered entrepreneurs to learn how to do it themselves? And the reason why I came up with this is because one of my clients was had somebody else doing their digital media. So I said, Kim, talk to me about what they're doing for you. She goes, I don't really know. I go, what's your cost per lead? She goes, I don't really know. I go, all right, that's a problem. As an entrepreneur, you got to know all of that. And so it just made me realize that this program really is a great opportunity to teach people how to do online marketing in the new way, which has completely changed since COVID. What I teach now is so different than what I taught 12 months ago. And it's rapidly changing too. And it's fun because the beautiful thing about it is it's not just my coaching one-on-one, and that you get, a list of 40 plus lessons of my top tricks and how I find people, personal branding, how to build a sales funnel, lead generation, content generation, how to close a sale on the phone, right? But the beautiful thing about it is it's a mastermind of entrepreneurs looking to do the same thing. And so we do group calls every single week, anywhere between 2 to 3 times a week. We jump on specific topics and we all talk through it. And what I find is that's honestly and the feedback that I'm getting is they think those calls are the most helpful, because there's other network marketers and there's other people that are struggling with similar things. And then we talk about, all right, you jumped on a sales call this week and you didn't close. What do you think happened? And so we talk through things, and we talk about we look through your DM conversations, where are you falling off, and we talk about your sales funnel and your numbers and where are you losing people. And it helps because everybody learns from each other, and it's a really good group. And so it's an exciting thing to be with other entrepreneurs that are doing a very similar thing, to learn how to market your business in this completely new world.
So you're good. You're very, very impressive as far as if you can even imagine with all the different networking groups I'm in, how many coaches are out there. So
there's a lot of them.
Yeah. And I usually kind of meet, I'm like, right? You know, and I'll just walk away. I'm like, I can do this. So yeah. So I would like to take a look at your program. I may actually want to have you to bring in. We're in a position right now where we're actually going to be changing the branding, because the Moms Making Six Figures will just become a lead generation site, a little bit different. My business partner Heidi Bartolotta, who's on that page, there's some reasons why we have to do it, and also reasons why it makes sense to do that. You know, as far as taking that to the lead gen, the team name will be Smart Wellness Associates, kind of taking out any kind of income claims that are in that FTC guidelines. So, which actually I think is going to be great, because we're basically, and this might be something where you might want to talk to Heidi. We basically are looking for moms who've made six figures to have it be a site for them to market themselves on, not just with our company, but all different industries.
Oh, that's very cool.
So we're in the process of literally that. The second piece of it is and then going into more of the team part of it. So I'm definitely at a transition time right now. My business is solid and it's great. I just kind of have to decide, like if I'm going to do this for the next 10 years, you know, I kind of think I have, then I want to do it really well and kind of get it to the next level.
Yeah.
So,
do you want to scale, and how do you scale it? You know,
yeah.
I have a few people that are in mid six figures, that are doing really, really well, making about $400,000 or $500,000, and they're like, I've been at this now for years and I can't get it to 7. How do I scale it past that? And a large part of it is that duplication process of being able to create an online training platform to teach others to do what you do. And a large part of it, what I find is people don't really, if I asked you to explain to me in 30 seconds what your vision is of your company, a lot of people can't do that. And if you can't do that, how do you expect to motivate and inspire others to sell your own product, you know? So it's a lot of process, you know, that people struggle with of being able to scale that.
Well, I can see why you've been so successful. I haven't even I think it's just scratched.
You too.
But yeah.
I'm just passionate about it because I've made a lot of mistakes in my career. There are things that I would go back and do a little differently. I don't regret anything, and I like to teach others what I wish I would have done so that they can scale their business faster. And I think, you know, financial freedom is a really important thing. And, you know, I say to my team sometimes, you know, there's that fine line of motivating you of what I have, because I want to motivate you to have what I have, but also not discouraging you, right? It's like that fine line. But I think financial freedom, especially for women, I'm so passionate about it. Because I don't believe in debt. I think if you have a talent and you're passionate about something and you love something so deeply, then you deserve to make money and you deserve to do what you love and have that financial freedom. And I'm really passionate about it. I think there's so much opportunity for us women out there. And I've lived my whole career, you know, reporting into, you know, executive men and reporting into, you know, people that I did a lot of their job and I didn't get that credit, you know. And so I think there's a spot for power women. So I love what you guys are doing, and I think it's really cool.
Thank you. Yeah, I remember when I walked out of, I was at Bank of America and we were on a team. It was two men and myself. And anyway, I left and I thought to myself, and I left with nothing, and I had brought, you know, millions of dollars because they basically wanted my contact list, right?
Yeah.
And I remember walking out, and they gave me the laptop, and I remember thinking to myself, I'm never doing this again.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely going to get into something where I can either have equity or residual income to build that up, right? So, and at the same time, you know, I have an interesting story as far as, you know, my marriage, but my husband was the CEO. You know, we just sold his company this year. I'm raising 3 very...
It's incredible. I'm really in awe of you that you were able to build your business with 3 kids. 3 boys. Boys are the difference of the boys and the girls. I'm noticing now that we're starting to go to like the playground. The boys are like flying across the thing. Oh, yeah. The girls are like, oh, let's go down the slide. The boys are like, yeah, like jungle gyms. And I'm like, and we thought we had a boy. We were like convinced, and we had a big party last December, and we did a tree lighting. And I'll send you the video. Our face was priceless. We were like, get that, like no way. And now we have a girl. We're like, thank goodness. Like we would have been exhausted. So the fact that you had 3 boys and you built a business, like you should be proud of yourself. I mean, that's just it really is incredible.
Thank you. The boys were, they were, I remember my dad looking at me one time, because it was like just keeping them all in place. And he's like, Angie, he goes, he's like, you are so tough on them. You have them. She goes, and he's like, stay there, because the more you can, the harder you work right now, it's going to pay off later. And he's right. Like, they're fantastic. I mean, they all are great. They're all happy. The best part is they're happy, they're sweet, they're well adjusted. And, their dad kind of has put us through a little bit of the ringer over the last 6 years, which is also fine too. And he's great too. But that's another story I'll tell you about later. But
we'll have like a happy hour one day, and we'll spill each other's beads,
that story might be. Then you might be like, wow. Okay.
We all have a story, so.
Paths crossed. But no, he's also my best friend. I've known him since he was 5 years old, and he's a wonderful man. So there's all that part too. And so that was the other piece of it too. Like, how do I figure out a navigate a way that we can, get through this and still them have, love their dad who they should, right? And me being able to still be a family, even though we weren't together. Yeah. And that was tricky. So that's the part about it. But the entire time that I've been with this company, I constantly was getting a paycheck, and I constantly, some years my business is grew, and some years they didn't.
But that could be your niche too. I mean, not that you want to like capture, women going through that, but you're relatable. It's right. Something that you could relate to and help them kind of get in their feet and get this side business. It might just be something that it might be an easier sell to try to, like you said, your biggest problem right. is getting people to see the value of what you're doing and finding people that want to actually make money. Like, isn't that weird? Right. And it might just be the niche, finding that niche, and you can expand out. I always tell people, like, you can expand out. It doesn't mean you have to stick with that niche, but it might help build the momentum.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, that's good. I haven't really done that because I haven't wanted to be that vulnerable about it, but I'm now kind of it's almost during like
part of COVID.
And it's right.
It's the new world. You have to be vulnerable. It's so hard. And I'm gonna be honest. Like, I hated doing video. I was always like the dorky programmer that like had the lights off, programming like a little dork. And the last couple years, like as I grew in my rankings in working non-for-profits for a while after I sold my business, I had to, I got thrown into some sales positions. I ran a whole 120 people worth of salespeople. And I remember the first time I was like shaking, and the president of the whole organization was there, and there was literally 500 people at this event. And my VP, who normally does the sales pitch, got sick and couldn't go. And she was like, Alexa, you have to do the pitch. I'm like, what? I'm like, hell no, I'm not getting in front of all these people. I was like hyperventilating in the bathroom, on the phone with her, on the toilet. And I'm like, I can't do it. She goes, you could do it. And then it was the first time, this was like maybe 8 years ago, first time I got in front of a group of people, and I was terrified. And luckily, people were probably being super, super nice, but they were like, oh, you did really great. I'm like, okay, like you're totally blowing smoke up my, what. And, now it's just, every time I get in front of a camera, I hate it. Like I hate seeing myself on a camera. I hate my voice. I hate everything about it, but like you have to.
Well, you're beautiful and you have a lovely
voice. Oh, stop. Thank you.
Yeah, you're great on camera. So I thought this was going to be like a little call, so I usually try to get a little bit more presentable during that.
You're fine. No, I really appreciate it. And I mean, I do think my program could help you. I just don't know how it fits in with what you're doing, because it sounds like you guys kind of have something similar on that end, but maybe it's not necessarily, helping grow your online business. So I don't know where it fits in with what you're doing. Yeah. But I do think the program could help you. And it might be something to think about.
Yeah, I do too. So thank you. I appreciate that. Let me take a look at it. I like I said, we're going through such a transition right now that the timing of it might be great as far as how to execute this brand and this new direction that we're going into. Which the idea of it is really more of a lead generation.
Yeah.
So how do I capitalize on that during COVID?
Ton of social.
What's that?
A ton of social. Lead gen is, and that's the problem too. Most coaches, I kind of I love the idea of looking at it in a 360. And a lot of times, all these coaches are like, "Oh, I can make you $10,000 a month and teach you the right way to do Facebook ads." Well, before you could talk about Facebook ads, you need to make sure you have the right offer, the right branding, the right social media, like the right message. Like, so for me, it's the whole package. But I actually get better organic leads. I get less than I do on like Facebook or Google, but I don't do any paid media at all for my business. None.
Wow.
Yeah. Because I get such good leads from my content. And I do have a couple, like one of my clients is a celebrity and she like loves me. And so she has a ton of followers. So she does happen to share my stuff quite a bit. So I get a lot of people coming from her, and she talks about me nonstop because she's like, my business coach just laid it into me, guys. And so she like always goes on like Instagram Live talking about me. So that helps. But for the most part, I don't do any paid media. And actually right now I'm trying to think through my students. None of them do it either. Yeah, none of them are doing paid media, and they all are bringing in 6 figures plus. Wow. Without paid. It's not always the answer. Now, I have done it for clients, and it does work. But Facebook is tricky. You got to know what you're doing.
Facebook's tricky, and it's getting trickier. How do you feel about communities? Well, we had as far as that going on, from Facebook private group pages into communities. I had a company that they have approached us about that.
If done well, it could work. It could work if you have the right content and the right strategy, but you need to have the personnel to do it. Like I do have a Facebook group, not necessarily a community, but for the lead gen piece. But I'm so busy, I don't even really have a ton of time, and I have some people that work for me that do it, but we could do it better. I was doing it very well until we got really, really busy. And then I think, right? Yeah, I focus more on the community once you're in the membership. And the community aspect of the mastermind that I created is so important. And it is what makes my program what it is, because they all like talk to each other, and now they're all like friends. It's kind of funny.
That's fantastic, because especially you're definitely filling a need right now, because people are so really, quite frankly, lonely.
Yeah.
Right? And you can't go out as much, and so everything has to be at home, and that does get lonely, because you really want to be around smart people that have the same kind of vision or dreams, and right.
Yeah.
Go for it. So what about you? What's your, right now your business is going well. What's your ultimate goal? I'm sure you have that.
Yeah, my ultimate goal for 2021 is to bring in 20 million for my clients. So that's my goal. So to help all of my students, not clients, I call them students, to bring that amount of money in for them, which is life-changing for them. That's my ultimate goal. For me, I'm at that stage where I could be picky with who I take on and who I don't. I vet. You could see I was vetting you. I was like, "What's your deal?" I'm very picky, and I'm lucky that I could do that. But I'm trying to build this mastermind into something. It's not my main income. My advertising piece is where most of my income comes from, and consulting. So that's where a lot of it is. I've been coaching for a while, but I just started the mastermind piece, because I felt like you, that a lot of the feedback I was getting was I felt very disconnected. And actually, ironically, one of the people that are trying to get into my mastermind is trying to create a community, a social media community. And so he's been trying to get me, and I'm intrigued by his idea that he's trying to start, because he's trying to do exactly that, of people, kind of more professional brands who they feel so isolated in their like Instagram world of trying to build a community. And so he's creating this idea of an instant community, Instagram community of all other professional brands and experts trying to build their own personal brand. And it's a really unique idea. I just don't know if he and I would work well together, so I'm kind of shying away. But he has that idea of the community, which I think is really cool. But I just want to help people. I just finished my PhD, so I'm looking to get into teaching
Congratulations.
personally. What?
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's my 5th degree. I'm crazy. But I love education.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
I'm nuts. So I'm looking to teach, and this kind of plays into that, you know. To me, it's less about income and money and more about, you know, getting this mastermind and helping. I mean, the people that I have in my group, I have a single mom. I have 2 single moms now because I just signed somebody else, and like she lives actually local to me, and like her story is just unbelievable, and like I gave her half off. Like I didn't even care. I'm like I don't even care about making money with you. I just want to help you. Like because she's unbelievable in the things that she's gone through being a single mom, and it's just incredible. You know what she's trying to do, and she just needs that push. She needs that guidance. That's it. You know. So yeah, I just want to help. Yeah.
Does your wife work as well, or is she?
Yeah, she's so when we sold our business in 2014, they wanted me to go be their executive for their digital team because they're the largest private advertising agency in the U.S., but they were traditional only. And when they bought my company, it was because they wanted that digital. And we had some major clients like Skype and Apple and some big name brands that they can add to their portfolio, but I was very honest with them. I said, I'm happy to be a consultant for you, but I really want to give back and go into the not-for-profit world. And so I did that, and I convinced them to hire her. So they hired her, and now she runs she's their VP of digital, so she runs all their digital. So it's fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, no, it's fun, and she is on the 4th floor, and I'm on the bottom floor. So it's good separation, you know.
Oh my gosh! So well, you created a beautiful family and a
you
wonderful
too.
business.
I'm just in awe of you. 3 boys. God bless you.
Yeah, they're fun. They're funny. They're fun right now. One of my business partners, she's like, you should do like a story, like when it starts like with them back and forth and texting.
Yeah.
You know, they just like banter back and forth against each other, and they're just so funny.
That's
like,
awesome.
I don't know if any other people, it's a little bit irreverent, and sometimes so like that's the other one, like they're just hysterical. So but they're fine. My youngest son actually
awesome.
is at he graduated a year early from undergrad and was accepted into a master's program in journalism, but was offered a job in Denver, Colorado as their sports reporter. He's in broadcasting.
Wow.
Jim Nance broadcast award. So
that's amazing.
There, which is he's the fun one, you know. Like so, we're all my older boys are awesome too, but they're in kind of more starting out corporate sales, and which is perfect, you know, for them. Scotty is on TV and you know getting a lot of attention, and we're having a lot of fun with it. So it's fun. So they have him doing kind of special interest stories and give him the creativity, and
that's amazing. You did good, Mom.
What's that?
You did good, Mom.
So it's fun. They're all totally different, and I think that's the part that's fun. But to your point, I do remember like having the boys. We were babysitting my friend's little girl, and they were probably about a little older, more closer to. They were probably 8, 9 months old, and she just sat on my husband's lap and just looked perfect, like this darling little girl. And Charlie, my oldest, was on the couch, off the couch, on the couch, off the couch, like just back and forth. And I was like, you know, like he's gonna die. And you know. And I looked at him and I go, remember when I said let's have a baby? That's what I meant. What the heck did I get myself into here?
She's got energy though. I mean, my daughter will fling herself. If she wants something that's across a room and she can't crawl yet, but she'll fly her body, she'll like go like this, whoosh, and try to fling herself towards it. And I'm like, and she'll like bang her head. I'm like, you're a wild child. I'm like, you're crazy.
Well, with moms like you, I think she's going to definitely be very... very active.
There's no participation awards accepted in this house. So that's all. I'm a former athlete. Like, not happening.
Now you know what my life was like when it was like second place again.
But like second place is okay, but like participation award, come on.
Oh.
What are we teaching these kids?
That was such a big thing that just absolutely used to drive us all crazy. Like you get a participation award, like no you don't. Like don't give that to me. I don't want that. So
it's like come on, we gotta teach them that losing's okay. Learn from it. Figure out how to grow. You know.
There you go.
It's ever changing. So if you want to learn more about the program, let me know. And I'm happy to discuss more with you what it is and what it entails. And it is a 4-month program. It's actually a 3-month program, but I'm adding a 4th month right now. I don't know why. I'm trying to help. And what I found from feedback when I talked to people and seeing so far in the program that they always wanted 1 extra month, and I always ended up just giving it to them. So I'm like, I might as well just make the whole program 4 months then.
Okay.
So it's a 4-month program. Like I said, it's very minimal time on your end. You put as much effort as you want into it. And you can or either have my one-on-one coaching or not, or just be part of the mastermind and get the content online. But I'm growing the content as we go. I probably have half of it done. So every day I'm kind of taking the people I'm helping and building more content every day. I would say probably by mid-January it'll probably be mostly all done. Because I wrote a book, and now I'm taking that book and turning them into lessons. But it takes time because I'm building PowerPoints. It's not like I'm in a coaching program right now, and granted, I'm a big believer in coaching, but I pay $40,000 a year for this guy. He's like top dog, but like really expensive. I don't charge that much because honestly, again, I'm not doing this for the money. I'm doing it to help. And he's good, but like this guy is one of the most well-known coaches. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but like it is very unorganized, and like I'm like an organization freak, and there's no process. He's just teaching you random things that helped him grow his business, and it's not organized whatsoever. Like I have a pretty organized system in place that I have used to grow like hundreds of businesses. I mean, I had 5 businesses that I grew that sold for millions of dollars to big corporations, WebMD, Macy's. You can look her up, Alexa Persico. I helped her build her entire brand and from the scratch. And so I'm literally teaching all my students the same thing that I did with her. And she now sold to Macy's for millions of dollars. Like she was 19 years old when she came to me. Like incredible human being. Like I'm still in awe of her. And so, like you said, a lot of these coaches, they just, they will teach you like one thing that they used, and there's not one silver bullet. Everybody's different. It's not one size fits all. Like it has to be customized for every single person, so, but anyway, so that's kind of what it entails. And so think about it, look at my website. We can jump back on the phone again, if you're interested to learn more.
Yeah. Thanks. I'm actually very intrigued. I took some notes. I want to look at it, and I want to come look and see, kind of really pinpoint where I feel are the gaps. And you touched on a couple of points now too. That's a lot of it too. I really need organization because I'm so organized. Our business changes so much, like day to day to day to day, which is good. I've said that for a long time. Otherwise I get bored. So there's a good part of it that's good. But this year has been so different, and we did really, really well. I mean, I've had the best year I've had since 2011, and that's mostly why I'm kind of reaching out.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so now I know, now we're really on this trajectory. How can I take it here?
Yeah.
Really get it to a different level rather than just kind of play in this area. If I'm going to do it, I want to do it right. Otherwise, I'm kind of over it.
Yeah, you need a sales funnel and a process.
Yeah, exactly.
Sales funnels is, and the funny thing is, I mean, you can go on Fiverr, and I had this one guy who was trying to pick my brain. Sometimes people just want to jump on the phone, get your knowledge, and try to figure it out themselves. And so I had this guy, and he was very honest with me at the end of the call. He goes, look, I think you're amazing, and I think you can help me build an amazing sales funnel, but I can also go hire somebody for $250 off Fiverr, and they could do it for me. I said, do it. I said, go do it, and then let's talk in 2 months. 2 months goes by. I go, how's it going? He goes, yeah, you were right. It was a crappy sales funnel. I go, exactly. It's not about the technical aspect of it. Like, obviously, I'm a programmer. I could teach you that piece. But it's about how you're crafting it and, what page goes first and what's the email communication that follows it. What's the upsell page. Like, there's a whole system in place. And, hiring somebody, no offense, in India, which I'm a big outsourcer. Like, I outsource a lot of my stuff. But hiring somebody when you don't know what to do with it, like, it's not going to work, So definitely think that having some sort of process and sales funnel in place, because like it's simply numbers. If you want to make $1 million and for every person you get, you make 5,000, and you divide that, that's how many people you need to close. And then let's say you have a 20-40% close rate, whatever it is, then that's how many people you have to talk to. And then if, let's say you have a 5% close rate in the DMs, then that's how many people you have to communicate with. It's impossible for you to do that yourself and make $1 million, right? So you have to figure out a process that works for you. And every one of my clients is different. Like, I have clients that I've set up with a really good outsourced partner that goes and does all the DMing, beginning of the DMing for them, so that they just start the conversation and then they take over, and that works for some people. And then there's other people that really want like a very good salesperson. There's so many salespeople, even in America, that will do the sales, and Canada's really big with this. There's so many Canadians that want to do sales. Right now, it's like really blowing up. And you can hire people to do parts of the sales for you and only give them 10% of the final thing. So there's so many different ways to scale up, but you can't scale by yourself, you know?
Right.
So. All right.
You're awesome.
No, I'm so happy that we did this. Worst case, I feel like I have a new friend now.
There you go. I agree. So no, you're fantastic. You're super inspirational. I can tell why you've done so well. You picked on I'm going to take some time and kind of go through what you said and look at your site.
Yeah.
And it sounds like it might be the perfect, and it's funny because I really wasn't looking for that, right? So you just never know where life's going to go, right? I was really just sort of looking to connect with somebody, and you responded back, and I'm like, wow. So I had the same feeling that you did. Like, okay, she's kind of a badass. Talk to this woman.
No, I love taking on students that are badasses, because like somebody like you, like you're so driven, like all that you need is like a little direction, and you're just gonna go, like, and that's, I love picking people like that are so driven. And I run fast, and if I can find students that run as fast as me and just need to know what path to go, like I love that, because you end up being, people like you end up being a lot of my best clients, because you want to learn, you want to be better, you want to scale. Right. You know a lot already. You just need, sometimes bouncing ideas off of somebody is really helpful, and sometimes I end up being a little bit of a therapist, but I kind of enjoy that because it is a large part of it. And mindset, I have 6 pillars, and my first pillar is mindset, because you can't be a millionaire if you don't think like one. And one of the biggest things is asset is their time, and so I spend a lot of time with a lot of my students teaching them how to assess what you do on a daily basis, because you only have so many hours in the day, and I think mindset is so important. And we did a lesson last week about how to find your best self, because if you don't show up every single day as your best self, and you have 1 or 2 days that are bad every week, that's 1 or 2 days that you're not making sales and that you are not producing revenue for your company, and that is going to hold you from scaling. And I think it's so important to think about the mindset of it too. So it's beyond just teaching you, about business or online, how to find leads, how to build a sales funnel. It's also like somebody that you can trust to bounce ideas off of. Personally or professionally, I think it's just really important to have that person that is not biased,
Right, so, exactly.
But all right, let me know. I would love to jump back on. Let me know and we'll connect.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Alexa.
Angie, so nice to talk with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, bye. So the reason why I just want to kind of share with you, the reason why I did not hard sell her was because I could tell she was interested, but I think partly she was kind of trying to sell what she was doing a little bit, and I think she was exploring. So you'll know when to hard sell or not to hard sell. So like now in my system, I'll follow up with her in a week or 2, but she might be a very strong prospect. But I didn't feel it was the right time to really push the envelope of, saying to her, you close now and I'll get you. She's not wishy-washy. Like, I do that. Like, I'll hard sell somebody if I think they're wishy-washy. And, like, I want to know if you're serious about this. If you're serious about this, then put a $500 deposit down and we'll move forward. Where somebody like her, like, she's already a professional. She's already making a good amount of money. So she's not somebody that I would hard sell like that. Somebody that's kind of beginning and wishy-washy, or somebody that's like, I don't know if they're gonna end up doing it, and if I don't close them now, they're never gonna close. Like somebody like her, I feel like she knows what she wants. So I'd rather her kind of look into me, find me on LinkedIn, do your research, because she's not like a new business owner. So you have to assess and feel how it goes for you. All right. So I hope that was helpful, and I will keep giving you these calls because I think they're really important.